Welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Our focus is spiritually minded small business owners. Hello and welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. My name is Catherine and you might already know me as a remedial massage therapist, wellbeing consultant, business owner, workshop facilitator, author, artist and creative community advocate. I've lived in Melbourne, Australia nearly all my life. I started out in the world with my children's book, My Magic Glitter Boots, being published and studying drama. Over the years, I've worn many hats, single mum, an into domestic violence advocate, witchy and crystal lover, events, promotion, acting, but every path has led to the same purpose, helping people reconnect with themselves and discover the stories that inspire healing, growth and possibilities. As the host of Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul, I sit down with people from authors to artists to therapists, spiritual teachers, entrepreneurs and visionaries. Together we explore the experience that shaped them, the wisdom they've gained and the lessons they hope to share with the world. Whether you found me through massage practice, my books, community events, YouTube, or now through this podcast, I'm so grateful you're here because I believe every person has a story worth telling and every story has the power to change a life. Welcome to episode 19 of Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul, where heartfelt conversations become lasting inspiration. We are so glad this is a series that celebrates the dreamers, healers and creators, shaping a more conscious world through heartfelt conversations. We uncover wisdom, purpose and magic that move the soul and inspire transformation. We'd like to take a moment to show our respects to the Bunurong people, part of the Eastern Kulin Nation. We show our respects to all elders past and present. And if you'd like to subscribe to our channel or listen to us, we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. So just before we introduce our amazing guest for today, I'd just like to shout out a special thank you to DJ's Vintage Vault. This is a place full of retro and antique items with a room dedicated to witchy themes and readings, a cafe with delicious menu items. There's so much stuff. It's huge to browse. It's in Melton and it's run by Darren and Jay, and it's at 53 Reserve Road, Melton. They have 17 fantastic reviews on Google. So please have a look for DJ's Vintage Vault in Melton if you are out that way. Look them up on YouTube and support small business. So I'd like to introduce our first guest, Eva Michelle. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Eva Michelle is a full-time yoga teacher. She's a musician. She's the founder of the Yoga Pyjama Party. She's come to us wearing her pajamas, so yay. Eva, she has 2,000 hours of professional training under some of the world's most respected yoga teachers and mentors, and over 10 years experience in hot yoga, vinyasa and yin yoga. She invites people to connect through movement, breathwork, meditation, vocal toning and live sound. Eva, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a day in the life.
Thank you so much for having me, Catherine. I really appreciate you asking me to be on your podcast. It's such a pleasure to be here. A day in the life is never boring. Usually I'll teach between 3 and 5 yoga classes a day. One of them's usually in a hot room that's over 40 degrees or around 40 degrees in high humidity. And I just really enjoy sharing practices that feel like medicine. So movement practices, breath practices, sound practices, voice practices. If I'm not teaching in a studio, then I'm behind the scenes creating events or recording. I'm currently trying to get some of my live looped vocal sound journeys into recordings so that I can show my audience and show people what the events sound like, but also give them something to have at home that they can relax to, because the voice is inherently in tune with the human body, which I can explain a little bit more in depth about later. My day is full of vocal toning, it's full of breath work, it's full of yoga, and it's full of reminding myself of the present moment, which I often need the reminder of.
How long has it taken you to feel established in what you do?
That's a really interesting question. I started teaching around 10 years ago. I started teaching during the pandemic in Melbourne. I was teaching quite a lot online, and afterward found my feet at quite a lot of gyms and studios, which I'd already started teaching at beforehand, but I just really went headfirst into full-time yoga teaching. But then 2 years ago, I moved up to Queensland, and it was a case of re-establishing myself as an in-person yoga teacher. And I thought, what do I want to do? What do I want to gift to the world? What kind of spaces do I want to be in that make my heart sing, that make me feel like movement is medicine, that help me share the practices that have helped me back to health in my life? And so, to answer your question, I felt established in Melbourne, and then it was a re-establishment of my values and my identity as a practitioner and a yoga teacher, and someone that offers these gifts to other people up here. And I feel like I'm there now, but it has sort of taken me 2 years to find my footing in a new state with a new audience and also online.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so you specialize, we've used these words vinyasa, hatha, and yin yoga practices. I know a little bit about yoga, but explain to us the different forms.
So, apart from being in a hot studio, in a regularly temperatured studio, there's many different lineages of yoga. Hatha yoga is perhaps the core lineage of most of the other yogas, sort of come from the hatha positions. But the way that hatha is practiced now is that it's slow, held postures. It doesn't necessarily flow from one to the other, and it builds strength and stability, but can also be used in a gentle way. It could be used in a powerful way. There's quite a lot of different ways of teaching most of the practices, hatha, vinyasa, and yin. And then there are other different lineages that are a set sequence. So the hot yoga that I teach is a set sequence. One of the practices that I teach in hot yoga is a set sequence, and that's made up of 26 hatha practices and 2 breath practices. Then I also teach vinyasa, which is, in Sanskrit, the word vinyasa means to transition in a special way. So it's more about the way in which you transition from pose to pose rather than just the poses themselves, the asanas. And it's moving with the breath. Some people like to think of vinyasa as one breath, one movement. It's not how I think of that practice. I really like to stabilize, but I also really like the continual flow of movement from one position to the next. Yin is entirely different. It's based on traditional Chinese medicine, the meridians rather than the Sanskrit kind of, they call them nadis in Sanskrit, the energetic subtle body.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very similar and very different. It's seated positions of 3 to 5 minutes, some lying down, reclined positions, and it's basically all done on the mat. So yin and restorative yoga mirror each other in the ways where you don't have to get up, you don't have to have the kind of movement practice that might feel quite strong. Anyone can do it. I teach yin to people online that are in their 80s. I teach yin to beginners that have never practiced yoga before. And the yin and sound events that I host are really accessible to everyone, whereas the flow events, I probably would need to spend a little bit more time explaining what the movements were so that alignment could be more possible.
So you spend a lot of time in one-on-one classes?
I've spent a lot of time doing one-on-one classes and also group classes. I guess the yin yoga practice is more aimed at releasing like tension through the muscles and the tissue surrounding the muscles, whereas a lot of the other movement practices are focused on flexibility, joints, etc. So yeah, and you know, the movement practice is just one of the 8 limbs of yoga. Yoga is essentially a pathway to freedom that's made up of 8 limbs. The word yoga means to unite the mind and the body through the vehicle of the breath. And
I
our
did not
movement
know that. That's so
that
interesting.
yeah, it's really cool. It's such a it's a full all-encompassing life philosophy. When I found it, my nervous system was completely burnt out, and also as a professional overthinker and someone that has had lifelong anxiety in the past, yoga kind of put into perspective a lot of things that I'd been thinking about, you know, existentialism, what is consciousness. It turns out that these practices and these philosophies have been around for thousands of years and people have been talking about them. So our practice on the mat reflects life off the mat, and it's very metaphorical, but it asks you not to attach to the present moment, not to attach to story. It can be very liberating.
Especially if it's your job. Yeah,
Absolutely. To
yeah.
be sure, that's why I made it my job. I get to
Yeah.
do it
I,
every
I,
day.
I mean, I feel like someone that teaches yoga and someone that's a therapist, I feel like there is some connection there because you're working with bodies and you're working with people to re-energize and reinvigorate and be spontaneous and those kinds of things as well. Um, so so this is yoga, and thank you for explaining all those differences. That was incredibly interesting, actually. Could you tell us how music has shaped the person that you've become? Because I know that music is some part of what you contribute towards your sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say to start with that music is basically just made up of frequency. And when you think about sound and its potential to open up channels of healing energy, they say that there's a really simple equation when you're using sound in this way. It's intention plus frequency opens the doors for your body to start its innate journey of healing. Now, I've been a musician my whole life, so I have a very coloured past with music. I've been playing piano since I was 3. I mean, I don't really play a lot of piano anymore, but I've played instruments since I was 3. I used to write quite a lot of music and songs. I've worked in the music industry, I've worked in the music festival industry. I've been a singer-songwriter since I was 11. I've produced music, I've got EPs online. I used to work for a record label and many music festivals across Australia. And I've also seen a lot of the depths of the music industry. I have been a musician that's been both contributing to the music industry for all of my life and also seen some of the toxic traits that occur in the music industry. When I left a job in the music industry to pursue writing my own music, my body had other ideas. I was exhausted, I was burnt out. And it was through that journey of burnout and nervous system recalibration that I found yoga and found all of these really beautiful techniques of using the voice to heal the subtle body energies. And then I found vocal toning. And
Mm.
vocal toning is this wordless sound practice, which again, you can use your intention coupled with these open vowel sounds that are said to break up chaotic energy that's stuck in the body.
Don't you think that too, if you've come from a background of using your body, being going to festivals and being in that kind of producer music element, which is really full on heady, it's all like hedonism and all of that. Don't you think that it's a really good kind of come down and retrospective also in life to be
Yeah,
able to be doing yoga, which is so good for you? So it's sort of like going back to that part of your life and saying thank you. Thank you for all those parties. Thank you for all those amazing experiences and all those people I met and those crazy nights. And then just kind of being able to still be alive and refreshed and at full sort of battery, so to speak,
yeah,
like full power mode to be able to keep giving in a more subtle, more personalized way, like a way that you wouldn't have thought possible like 20 years
yeah.
ago or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there was a lot of hopes and dreams wrapped up in the music industry world and through the practices that I've encompassed music into yoga, and also just through the practice of yoga, everything's kind of come together. The way that you'd sort of set up this podcast, you were saying a lot of stuff about yourself and your own journey and how it's all kind of led you to here. And I feel exactly the same way about myself. Like every aspect of my life has kind of led into each other for me to now be offering these practices as holistic practices, and to share the practices that have helped me heal from deeply held stuck emotions and stuck energies and things that have occurred in my physical body, to be able to share that kind of healing journey on these multiple modality pathways.
Tell us about, so you were talking about vocal toning. So tell me about vocal toning, how that becomes part of what you're doing.
Okay, so as a really brief explanation, if you take a deep breath in and sigh it out on an ah sound.
Ah.
And your body feels the way that you would feel if you were to make that sound naturally, right? It's
Yeah.
relaxed. And even just for that one moment, you can't be in fear or in resentment. You're just purely in that moment of ah. It's kind
Yeah.
of this connection to that particular energy in the body. Vocal toning suggests that if you make the sound of how you would like to feel, then your body will feel that way naturally. And so we make that sound over and over again. Now, you could use Sanskrit mantras to do that, or you could use simple vowel sounds. Vowel sounds are open. They, as a sound design, if you think of all of the chaotic energies that your body can hold, like let's say fear, grr, or ah, anxiety, it's all kind of these tight, fist holding, gritting your teeth on a sound wave. It would look like a jagged edge. It would look really chaotic. So these vowel sounds, the ah, o, e, u, are smooth sine wave kind of waves that break up that chaotic energy in the body. It's again frequency plus intention equals healing. That's
I
a really
love
good brief
that.
explanation of
You know
vocal
what I
toning.
love? I love that I feel like I just kind of got a sneaky, like a sneaky lesson in that, if, because
Yeah.
I've just been doing some breathing work, like some what work, I've been learning how to breathe with the 4-7-8 thing. I don't know if
Mm.
you've heard of that, but you breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But now I'm thinking I should add ah to that. Just sometimes if I'm really like,
Absolutely do it.
yeah, breathing is such an amazing accomplishment if you're high in anxiety, if you work really hard and, just constantly do get roadblocks of all different types. Breathing is just an incredible tool, like thing to throw into the toolkit. And I love that. So the vowel sounds A, E, I, O, U, and you just
Yeah.
incorporate that into the breathing. Um, I feel like I need to know more about it. But oh, look,
I just got really excited about that because breath work is part of this vocal toning practice. And I feel like using self created sound, like you don't have to be a singer, you don't have to think of yourself as someone that can hold a note, but it's a little bit of a cheap practice to breath work because, as you said in your breath practice that you just mentioned, there's counting involved. So there's still a little bit of in the head work. Lengthening your exhalation is what that's doing. So there's a little bit of holding, a little bit of retention of breath, but the exhalation's longer than everything else. And when your exhalation is longer, it lowers your heart rate and it taps into the sympathetic nervous system.
yeah,
Now, when you make sound on your exhalation, that happens naturally because you're closing the gap at the back of the throat through which you release breath. So breath has to happen slower. So it's tricking your brain into lowering your heart rate and tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve that goes all the way through the body and
yeah,
sends these messages of we want to calm down. It's nervous system regulation. Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love that I'm into this. I'm so into nervous system regulation for myself, and to just share that as a not like as a really amazing, because like it's just better than saying don't get angry. Like, no, don't get angry. No deal. But breath work and the 4-7-8 idea, and then it just gets it just gets better from there. I think we just like that's a path to a much happier life and a better heart rate and lower blood pressure and all that. Tell us about the birth of the Yoga Pyjama Party.
The Yoga Pyjama Party is full being cozy and feeling welcomed into a wellness practice and feeling like it's not intimidating at all to join. So the idea is that's why I've got so many cushions around me at the moment. Like I could just lie back. And this is a yoga pose. Arms wide, lying down on a cushion, feet together, knees wide. But I just want to feel comfortable. I want to feel comfortable when I'm exploring the edge of discomfort. So in the yin yoga world, you explore sort of this 50% edge between sensation and no sensation so that you can deepen. It's kind of like this light inside the body that says, I can feel this, but I can sit with this. It's not screaming at me to move. It's just allowing me to go a little bit deeper. Now, the Yoga Pyjama Party, I just started thinking that if I'm going to practice yin yoga and really focus on sensation, I don't want that sensation to be my active wear is really tight and I wish that I was wearing something more comfortable.
Yes.
So that was born out of that idea. And I had been doing some vocal toning sound bath events and I just wanted to marry the two together. Now, the other part of that idea is that my brain acts quite rapidly still after all of these years of teaching yoga. So I like having a lot of things to do with it at once. What I just mentioned about sound being a trick to lengthening your exhalation breath, this is a flow state experience for me that I'm then gifting to other people. So when I'm creating a live loop on a loop machine and then changing people's positions, like I'll slow down the loop or I'll take out some of the music, and then I'll put people into a different position, make sure that they feel safe, comfortable, like they can explore an edge of discomfort and sink into the pose. And then I go back to creating that live sound bath. You could think of it as a live, sometimes artists do live paintings, like they create their painting live for either aesthetic as part of an event or a
I
gallery
do.
opening.
I know it very well.
Yeah, it's like because you've probably done it before. So it's exactly like that, but the painting that I'm making is with the voice.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so creative. It's so artistic, and both are so incredibly relevant at the same time. Um,
Mm.
okay, so the Yoga Pajama Party, so I guess I'm just kind of wondering, are you doing these now where how
Yeah.
how
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically like it feels like one breath, these yoga pajama parties, but it's like this chorus of sound that builds, these layers of vocals that come in and come out. I'm doing them monthly on the Gold Coast. I'm hiring venues once a month. I do them up here. I do them at festivals. I've Rainbow, Earth Frequency, Mushroom Valley. There's wellness festivals that I've contributed to. There's Starlight Festival in Bangalore. I've done it in Bali at yoga retreats. And I have just been awarded a grant to continue offering this in regional and
yes,
metro communities.
yes. I've got a question for you. So
Perfect.
okay, so you've won the Yoga for Good Foundation grant. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
I'm really excited about this.
Excited. Yes, I'm
So
excited.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yoga for Good Foundation awards grants to, I think it was 21 recipients this year. So they're an amazing foundation that fund community-based projects that involve yoga. Some of the projects that they fund, I'm so humbled to be included in this list. Like a panel of people have looked at my proposal and said, yes, this is worth it. Some of the people are supporting people on the NDIS, supporting people with mental health, just creating these different aspects of either events or studios or wellness practices that they can gift to these kinds of demographics. So the proposal that I put in for the Yoga Pyjama Party was to host both regional and metropolitan events all over Australia,
Yes,
starting in southeast Queensland,
yes,
which I
yes.
think I'll also be able to start in Victoria this year as well, because I've got a studio that I'm partnering with in Castlemaine, and I've been asked to do a sound bath in Port Melbourne, and it's all just kind of rolling off.
That's
So
amazing.
the
I'm
idea is
so
that
glad
I
to hear
want to,
that. I really am. I
yeah,
think
it's really
because
exciting.
because when you make an event of it,
Yeah.
it's so much better.
Yeah. So I want to create these sort of immersive events that end with the yin and toning sound bath. And you can just come to that half of it if you just want to participate as a passive participant. But if you wanted to learn some of the breath practices and the vocal toning, then you can also come and for the first half of the event, learn those practices and take them home with you.
Mhm.
So this creates small, basic, easy practices that you can use when you get stressed, so that if you are stressed or anxious at 12 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and your head's rushing, then you've got tools that you can access. And especially for regional communities that don't have access to yoga studios, or people that where yoga might be outside of their reach, whether it's because they're in a demographic that's socioeconomically not
Yeah.
accessible to yoga, or perhaps like mobility wise they don't have access to these kinds of practices. I want to be able to gift that to them. And then it also helps local communities. So in the rural areas, I mean, up here, I've been hiring a friend of mine to make these gluten-free, plant-based cakes. And I want to contact bakeries in those rural areas, because it's a pajama party, so you obviously need cake at the end. So I want to support bakeries. I want to support charities. 30% of the proceeds of these tickets will go to a local charity in the regional areas, and then in the metropolitan areas they'll support things like mental health or homelessness or domestic violence, that kind
Wow,
of thing.
that's amazing.
It's a really
So
community based.
whether someone's stepping onto a yoga mat for the first time or carrying like invisible emotional burdens, this is going to be an environment where people will feel safe to sort of
Yeah.
soften up and bring a friend and be vulnerable and reconnect and do all of that. Like already you just saying you're going to be like close, like that there will be events near me makes me so happy. It's something to look forward to. It sounds like a really nice way. It just sounds like such a lovely way to connect. And like you say, most importantly, for me, I can go anywhere, do anything, but there's just so many people that can be touched that are in vulnerable situations. And um, congratulations. Like, this is just so exciting. The Yoga for Good Foundations grant. Eva Michelle, well done. That's amazing. So happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Um, I feel your excitement. You tell some music as medicine, the nervous system, daily practice. Um, it also mentions here that you've achieved international training, so you've earned, um, so you've got like a definition of success, obviously, from gaining this um, grant. Have you like what were the first steps once you found out?
What were the first steps? Well, I
Yeah, like
screamed when
apart from jumping up and down and going,
definitely screaming was involved. It was literally last Sunday I just got this approval email, and then it was just a notification, and I thought, oh, I'm not, should I tell anyone? What do I do with this information? And then it was officially approved on the weekend or Monday, and
yeah,
I've been sent the contract and invoice for the grant amount. But the business proposal is already in place, so that was part of the whole proposal of how to run the event, where the funds would be directed to, was already in place as part of the grant proposal. So for now, I'm partly organising the first leg of the tour, but I'm also trying to contact some potential marketing partnerships,
mm,
maybe some active wear companies that do athleisure wear, or even pajama companies that might want to be involved, that might want to support that kind of charitable donation side of things. Um, yeah, I'm sort of just trying to make it as big as possible so that I can get as much awareness and as much traction out of the event as possible,
how
because I really believe
beautiful.
this practice
So
is really
you've got cakes, you've got pajama companies.
I'm
Jim,
hoping
Jim,
to have pajama companies, but yeah, that's the
yeah, no, no,
idea.
no. I love the way it's just imploded or like just come out in all these different
Yeah.
ways. And you know why? It's because of that music industry background, that entrepreneurial kind of produced reality that you've come from, to be able to take this and turn it into something like that, only, good for you. And just, it's a really, I love it. And it's really just about what I really love too, which is just supporting small business as well. um our podcast is called Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. If you could leave our listeners with one heartfelt message, one simple practice, or one truth you've discovered through yoga, music, and sound that has the power to change someone's life, what would that be and why?
Oof. Well, most of the practices that I've learnt all kind of lead to this one thing of present moment awareness, that it's okay to give yourself permission to let go of whatever it is that's drawing the threads of your conscious awareness to something that's in the past that you can't change, or something in the future that you're anticipating happening that might not be true. It is so important that we take a moment to breathe and just acknowledge where we are in time and space, because that's the real freedom of awareness. So whether that takes a breath in and a longer breath out, because when people say take a breath, they mean take a long breath out, or whether you use sound like that ah breath, or whether you just acknowledge what you can see and what you can feel that's here and now. This is the moment that exists, and this is a truly safe and beautiful moment whenever now is. I think that that's the best thing that I can share.
Yes, that's beautiful words from a yoga teacher. Live in the now. Is that what she said? Live in
Yeah.
the I love
It's
it.
basically, it's basically a paraphrase of Ram Dass saying "Be here now," but it's
Yeah.
it's it's very true.
Oh, that's really good. I think that even that you can find a quote is truly meaningful, and I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight. This has been really good. So everything that we've talked about has related to nervous system regulation, the philosophy behind yoga, the different types, breath work, vocal toning, sound healing, entrepreneurship, community building, creativity, mental health, purpose, resilience, leadership, accessible well-being, and the future of holistic health in Australia. Um, so, it's
Toning
toningaustralia.com.
Australia is the same. Yep,
Yeah, that
toningaustralia.com. Toning Australia on Instagram. You can see some of my sound journeys, and there'll be some recordings up soon as well.
amazing. Eva, thank you so much for sharing both your practical and personal insights and stories. It's been a real pleasure to be able to tell everybody about your experience and how it's going to blossom into something amazing, that we are going to definitely be hearing about. When we talk to people that always have so much enthusiasm and real expectations, to be able to share their knowledge makes me so happy. Thank you for being here, and thank you all to the listeners for coming along, for tuning in, and for supporting small business. We'd like to say a really quick thank you to DJ's Vintage Vault at 53 Reserve Road, Melton. That's in Victoria. It's just such an honour to be sponsored by you. And we're just going to end there, I think. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine. You can find Eva Michelle at toninaustralia.com. Eva, thank you so much for talking with me, and we'll see you again. We'll be catching up soon. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.